Thank you, friendship and shalom. A good year of the horse to everyone. As the Beatles sang, I want her everywhere, and if she's beside me, I know I need never care. But to love her is to need her everywhere, knowing that love is to share. Friends, love is to share. And this is a very special devar for me. It is terumah, donations. Not just any donations, mind you. Donations for sacred purposes. This is a donation for the priestly cult. This parsha marks the anniversary of when I began doing public Torah sermons for you, my friends. And for those who've been listening all year, thank you. It's not over, because there's always something different to talk about from each parsha. And I feel like I'm seeing you all, even though you're actually all able to see me and I can't see any of you. I still feel like I could see you all, and it's just a wonderful feeling. The Tanakh is an organic book. It's constantly changing, constantly telling you something different. Now, the Hebrew word for blessing is Baruch, and the name that goes with it is Baruch. And the Baruch is the call to prayer to bless. And one of the great teachers of my life encouraged me to share these commentaries with everyone. He saw them as a blessing. And so I will always think of this as the Parsha of Baruch. God tells Moses that the community as a whole should collect only from the individuals who choose to give. Friends, this is not a call to donate by everyone. This is a call on how to respond as a community for the community. And this is something that every church, mosque, synagogue, community, institution, and organization should strive for. A sanctuary for the community to act as a whole, but to be supported by those that choose to give. Not everybody can. Not everybody wants to. But it should never stop the work of the community. Love is to share. This call for sacred donations inaugurates a detailed set of instructions, and these detailed instructions takes up the rest of the book of Exodus, except for the golden calf incident. Moses has disappeared into the cloud on top of the mountain to commune with God, and we are given the architectural plans for the tabernacle and its adornments. This is the parsha that tells us about the ark and the menorah and the tent and the tabernacle. All the things we picture in our minds, like Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Picture yourself in a boat on a river. We've all heard it. We've all pictured it. And there is more written on the tabernacle in the Torah than any other single item or topic. The tabernacle. The Hebrew word is mishkan, and we think of the tabernacle or the mishkan as a portable sanctuary to be taken from encampment to encampment. But what it means is abode. And an abode is a house, a home, a dwelling, a shelter from the storm of life. It was in another lifetime, one of toil and blood, when blackness was a virtue and the road was full of mud. I came in from the wilderness, a creature void of form. Come in, she said, I'll give you shelter from the storm. In Exodus 25:8, God says, and they shall make me a holy place, and I shall tent among them. God will be present via the tent. And even after the temple is built, God is associated with the tabernacle, but never really with the temple. Friends, this sentence set in motion the belief that God resides with us. And so every temple that ever was and every temple that ever will be takes from this and contains that holy place within it, and the curtain that it contains, separating the holy from the holy of holies. And that's something we're going to talk about a little bit later. The book of Exodus culminates in the tabernacle's consecration. And what are the things that will go in it? We're given a list, and then we're given the instructions on their making, and they're very detailed instructions. And they include the ark, referred to as the ark of the testimony, which God says he will give them, but which we call the ark of the covenant. The atonement dais, the cherubs with their wings, the menorah, and later the Urim and Thummim, the mysterious fortune-telling device of the high priest. And God says, I shall meet with you there and speak with you from above the atonement dais, from between the two cherubs that are on the ark of the testimony. And where will he meet us? In a tent. The historian Josephus said the effect of the church's wing was to appear like a tent. And Psalm 61:5 says, I'll reside in your tent forever. I'll conceal myself in the hidden place of your wings. And 1 Chronicles refers to the temple as the house of the tent. Friends, we are given details as to the components and how to make them, but the instructions on how to make the tabernacle is not given very well. We can make our own, and we do in our own preparation for sacred time with all of our own trappings. And there is a cornucopia of numerological significance in the detail. People have tried to recreate its construction for centuries, but we're given a great clue in Exodus 25:40. It's not doable from the instructions because we are told God will show Moses on the mountain. He needs to see it. Moses has to see it in order to recreate it. The instructions are either insufficient or far too complicated for man's simple minds. Our egos make us think that we're smarter than we are. But God gave us the festival of egoless bread to remind us that our egos do more to imprison us than they do to free us. And friends, the cherubim are not the little pudgy angelic beings that we picture. They're actually fearsome winged beasts. They guarded Eden from man's return. And in the tabernacle, that is where God says he will meet us. And the rabbinic belief is actually that the Spirit of God was in the first temple, but was not in the second. Everything had disappeared by then. All the adornments listed were not only never seen again, but they were never mentioned again. All modern synagogues have a curtain veiling the Holy Ark where the Torahs are contained. But in the description in Exodus 26:31, God says, "You shall make a pavilion of blue and purple and scarlet and woven linen." The Hebrew word is paroket, which means pavilion, and in the Second Temple period, it came to be a curtain veiling the Holy of Holies. But in the tabernacle, it is a pavilion, a tent within a tent, and not a veil. It hangs on 4 posts. It provides cover over the ark and is called the covering pavilion, paroket hamasak. And in the Talmudic age, when it appeared as a curtain, the sages assumed it was always a curtain. But it was a sukkah, a covering that was over the ark, and that is where God will meet with us. And this speaks of the layers that are gone through as increasing levels of holiness. As you approach the Holy of Holies, and we as individuals internally go through the same process in our approach to God, to holiness, to sanctity. You shall bring the ark of the testimony inside the pavilion, and the pavilion will distinguish between the holy and the Holy of Holies. There is a sequence of ever-increasing holiness as one nears the center, leading to the holiest of all places, the Holy of Holies, contained within the pavilion and contained within your heart. My friends, what is the pavilion that we are all so familiar with that we see even now on the 4 posts within the sanctity of the temple? It is the chuppah. Most think that the chuppah symbolizes the house the couple will build together, but friends, it is considered a basic requirement for a Jewish wedding. And I suggest that's because it actually represents the pavilion where God will meet the couple. Let me suggest that next time you are at a wedding or get to participate in one, and you see the chuppah, you are seeing the abode of God, and you are sharing it with the divine presence. God's presence lies at the heart of each person, and we need to take steps to approach this presence. Who knows how long I've loved you? You know I love you still. Will I wait a lonely lifetime? If you want me to, I will. And when at last I find you, your song will fill the air. Sing it loud so I can hear you. Make it easy to be near you. For the things you do endear you to me. Ah, you know, I will. Shabbat Shalom, the Parsha of Baruch.